There was once a frontiersman named Johnny who built a cabin all on his own using a single hatchet. He brought his wife and kids to live with him there, all alone in the woods. One day, Johnny went mad and murdered his entire family with that very same hatchet. Some say if you listen close, you can still hear his laughter and the ever-present chop, chop of Johnny Hatchet. Now, I tell you that story to tell you another one. I told that story to a bunch of campers at a kids' summer camp where I was a counselor. My fellow counselors had the bright idea to convince the campers that this story was true, and spent the whole week insisting that Johnny Hatchet was real. So the last night of camp, the young boys were so worked up from this story that they insisted on having all of them sleep in the same cabin. Then myself and the counselors gathered close and said, "Quiet, listen." They got quiet, and we heard chop, chop, then again chop, chop, and again chop, chop, and then a dark, hideous laughter coming from outside. The boys huddled together in the middle of the cabin, and we counselors said we'd go out and investigate, leaving the children alone. We ran about shouting, "There he is! There's Johnny! Get away! Get away!" Panting, we returned to the cabin in a fright, and I pointed out that one of us was missing. The cabin grew quiet, the boys' eyes wide and afraid, until the missing counselor burst into the cabin and said, "Boys, I want you to get away from the windows. Stay in the middle of the cabin, and then I want you to do something for me. I want you to pray." That ignited the brush fire of fear that had been kindling in the boys, and they screamed in terror. Some of the boys monkeyed into the cabin's open rafters, some huddled under pillows, and one boy stood frozen in place, screaming like a klaxon alarm over and over, "Ah! Ah! Ah!" It was at this point that the counselors and I realized that this prank might have gone too far. And so we stood before the cabin door and said, "Okay, boys, please welcome Johnny Hatchet." And in walked the groundskeeper holding a dulled hatchet. The boys shouted and crowed, falling out of the rafters to proclaim that they were never afraid or throwing their pillows at us, all the while the klaxon alarm boy kept blaring, but this time in rage, "Ah! Ah! Ah!" baring his teeth and screaming his fury over and over and over. So we led the boys back to their cabins, and as they went, they heard the soft sound of applause. As all the girls in the camp came out from their hiding spots in the trees, they'd never believed the story and had been watching the whole time. And that is the true story of Johnny Hatchet. That camp closed, by the way, so you can't sue me.